Okay, I'm gonna start with all the inside information for announcements. I guess this music put us kind of down to sleep. Need an extra cork block. I hope everyone's having a great summer, all things considered. Are we rolling? Okay. Welcome. Anyone new? No. Hi, friends. Anyone new? No, we're all familiar, yeah? Mariel, really sort of give our hearts more wholly today in this final practice of Cancer season to the shadow, to the parts of ourselves that are neglected as we prepare for Leo season, which is like big heart energy, BHE. Maybe that's our theme for Leo season, because I think we're really going to need it. In a world on fire, I think we really, really, really must cling to a gentle heart that is and can be courageous. So that's what we're sort of going to face in Leo season. But for today, we'll just kind of continue to be like the full moon and allow the experience of our embodied experience to more fully reflect the light, the indwelling light, the brilliance of the heart in and as we practice today. Some announcements. Studio's going to be closed for at least Monday and Tuesday. If you haven't heard, we're putting windows in the downstairs studio and taking out that wall between the two front doors. And I'm just not really sure what level of chaos to experience, because contractors can be very chaotic, and it's a contractor I haven't worked with before. So hopefully they do like the front door work right away and then like load into the downstairs studio and put up a drape, and our life will go on next week after Tuesday with some chaos but minimal disruption is my hope, and be done by Friday, maybe even before. And then if you've ever done a construction project, you also like know to expect the unexpected and don't even know if we're gonna wanna be open at all. The inside information is that Anisha is on call for Tuesday night. So if you're a Tuesday night practitioner, we've kind of like not announced it, but held on to the possibility of being able to have class on Tuesday night at 6:30, Wednesday night at 6:30, and then hopefully like open again for upstairs classes on Thursday and Friday. So just stay tuned to social media if that's where you get your info, or your email if that's where you get your info, or feel free to just text me and ask me for up-to-date things. If you have my number, if not, get my number. I'm good with that. So the studio is, officially closed Monday and Tuesday due to construction, and we will reopen for class hopefully as of now Wednesday at 6:30. Wellness on the Waterfront is still on, weather and heat permitting. So you can join us at Ray Street Pier. In August, we have Fundamentals of Teaching Restorative Yoga with Eric. We have Flight School workshop with Khalif coming in from Mexico for that. He lives there now. Astro Pranayama workshop for teachers and serious students with Khalif. Thai yoga massage with Stacia Nero. Stacia Nero, like I need to say her last name. You know who Stacia is. Kids Yoga Fun Night with Sarah, that's Saturday, August 17th. Roll into Rest with Adriana and Anisha, that's Sunday, August 18th from 1 to 3. Roll into Rest was like a big hit, popular workshop. We roll the whole body with massage balls and roll right into restorative yoga. And then following that, we have an info session with Adriana and Anisha about the immersion and 200-hour teacher training. So if you're thinking about immersion, going deeper in your yoga practice in the fall with us, contemplating 200 hours of yoga teacher training to transform your practice and yourself and tap into the voice of the true teacher within you more deeply, and you have any questions or just want to hear other people's questions, come join us for the info session, or feel free to reach out to us anytime. Anyone here have any announcements? Any requests? Yeah. Hard.
It's not BHE yet, but
It's what?
I know it's not BHE yet, but
Yeah, no, we're gonna start. We gotta start organizing ourselves, right? Like that's. I feel like the message that I got from the world this past week is like, better get organized, better start organizing. And like, you got to organize from the foundation up and know what you're organizing for and know who you're organizing with. And you got to take the long view now because, I don't think anyone's new here, but we don't sugarcoat here and we don't bypass here. We practice in order to sustain ourselves in a world that is fucked. Like we're not like there's meaning in the world and we come to yoga to find it. We're like, the world is fucked. How do we live a life of meaning? It's a very different yoga in that regard, very different. So like, it's pretty clear now. I mean, things could change, breaking news all the time, can't even keep up. But like, as of now, and I haven't checked the news in 2 days, so forgive me if I've missed anything. I think I would know if Biden dropped out. That hasn't happened. Okay. Not to be like too relevant, but the ship is sinking. Like failure is imminent, and it's as yogis, what do we do in the face of failure? Like, how do we not resign? Because resign is a bypass. How do we not quit? How do we not hate and divide? Because that only hurts ourselves and doesn't, contribute to the solution of a problem. So we organize and we start from the foundation and we, come up with a mission and a practice that we can organize ourselves around with like a shared vision and value. And I think that centering ourselves around our hearts in a way that resists narcissism in a world of yoga that has like a lot of self-indulgence and a lot of narcissism, a lot of bypass. We organize ourselves for the sake of finding beauty and goodness and making meaning and value and morality, and not just for ourselves, but when we do it for ourselves, it's also for the sake of something greater than ourselves. And so we practice, and we're going to embody this in today's practice. We're going to embody the things that we've had the privilege of neglecting, because we have the privilege of a yoga practice, just to be clear. We're going to embody what it means and what it feels like and why it's meaningful to feel and be sturdy, but not too rigid. How to feel self-secure, but not too certain. How to be gentle and flexible, but not too movable, And we literally have a physical practice for it. It's a physical practice that is a technology for the expansion of consciousness, so that we have the capacity to live a life of meaning and not let the world tell us what life means. Does that make sense? Ish. Okay, here we go. That's why I'm here. I don't know why you're here, but I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, here we go. Take as comfortable a seat as humanly possible. I introduced and took the time to teach, which I don't often do in public classes last week, Ujjayi Pranayama, Ujjayi breath. If you know it, these hot, humid days of summer are a wonderful season for practicing your Ujjayi breath during your practice of yoga and just in the activities of your daily life as needed or when the awareness strikes you. I'll review it today. I'll review the Ujjayi Pranayama so no yogi is left behind. But just listening to this word Ujjayi, which is the name of the breath that creates sort of a hissing sound from the back of the throat. The word Ujjayi means victoriously uprising. And it's a breath that is a practice unto itself. It needs to be cultivated and refined, and we organize ourselves with it and around it, around the breath, whose currents, as we always state and restate, flow in the direction of the heart first, where the voice of the true teacher resides, always present, intrinsically peaceful, utterly powerful, When we close our eyes and turn into darkness, it's in order to see the indwelling light of the heart more clearly. It's in order to hear the voice, the yearning of the heart and soul more clearly. As the breath ignites the heart, the connection to the heart, the indwelling light of the heart, has an opportunity to inform, illuminate, and inspire the mind and the body. And here in this gift of conscious breathing embodiment, we have a physical practice of yoga that gives us an opportunity to align ourselves, engage ourselves, and stretch ourselves through aligned engagement so that we can be and feel sturdy and flexible and loving and aspirational and honest and honorable, even when it seems the metaphorical ship is going down. So not to sound like too much in despair, I lean into the practice to sustain the aspiration. I lean into the practice so that the genius of the Indian mythology and the genius of the practices of yoga can inform and inspire the American myth. We'll bring the hands together before the heart in Anjali Mudra. It's a gesture that acknowledges and honors the voice of the true teacher, that recognizes the indwelling light of the heart, always present, never further than the breath. It's a gesture that places the voice of the teacher, the indwelling light, before us as a guide for at least the time we spend together. And we practice so that this indwelling light of the heart, the voice of the true teacher, can be our guide and our offering far beyond the mat. We'll set the tone today by sharing the voices of our hearts in the sound of an Om. Feel free, as always, to join into the sound or let it wash over you. Deep breath in. Bow to your heart, always present, the source of supreme love and divine wisdom. Find that connection, make that connection, keep that connection, even as you release the hands and blink open the eyes. We'll come on to all fours to start in a tabletop position. Find your breath. And just begin by linking breath and movement in the ways that naturally feel good to you. In other words, like turn down the volume, resist the tendency to overthink. And as you exhale, just round your back, looking towards your heart, your guts, your center. As you inhale, arch the back, take the heart forward as you stretch the center. Exhale to round, inhale to arch at your own pace, really organic. And as you tap into the breath and link breath and movement, start to notice what you feel, how it feels, where you feel it. Come more into a neutral spine position after another round or two. Bring your hands all the way up to the top corners of your mat if they're not already. Pad your knees if you like. Remember, this month has been about nurturing, so just going a little extra as needed, as desired. And then as you inhale, shrug your shoulders towards your ears. And as you exhale, send your hips towards your heels. It's called puppy pose or quarter dog. Claw your fingertips, spread your toes, so the toes are tucked. And as you inhale, hug your knees towards each other and lift your underarms away from the floor. And as you exhale, this is a paradox. You're going to draw your bottom ribs in front up and let the upper back between the shoulder blades soften. So the paradox is, how do you be sturdy and secure and gentle and malleable. Just find it in your, set up the foundation, claw the fingers, tuck the toes, hug the knees to the midline. You organize yourself around your foundation. And then as you exhale, the bottom ribs lift up, the tailbone lengthens down, and right between the shoulder blades soften. It's a total paradox. Inhale to plank. Our particular approach to the physical practice is about embodying the paradox. Downward dog. Did I really just say plank? I'm sorry. Yeah. My parents yesterday for the first time in many, many years. It's an estranged relationship. So I'm like a little dissociated, landing back now. Thank God for feel what you notice. Pedal your feet. Deepen your breath. Hold it all. On your inhale, and can you take on an exhale, a gentle step forward to a lunge? Plant the foot, bring it to the front thigh. Now lift your back heel as high as you can. Lift the back knee and thigh higher. And as the back knee and thigh lifts, can you anchor your tailbone down so the front of the pelvis lifts? Interlace your hands behind your head and point your elbows forward. And then lift your armpits up like you're shrugging your armpits towards your ears, and press your head into your hands and your hands into your head. Suck your armpits in, feel the upper back engage, the shoulder blades organize to the spine, to the back of the heart. And as you lift your back heel, knee and thigh high, anchor the tailbone down and press your head into your hands, lean back. Let the bottom tips of the shoulder blades take the heart forward and up so that your heart is the highest point here, but it's supported by the sturdy foundation. Pull your feet towards each other, press your head back more, the heart rises. On the exhale, plant your dog. Take a moment to pause. Notice. So the Cancer season of reflection. The Cancer feature in all of us. So like we all kind of think of ourselves as or that. We take the note from the way we study the Indian epics, the Indian mythology, and you are every character in every story. So you are every sign, and every sign is in you. And the Cancer is the feature of yourself that is supremely reflective, the way that the moon reflects the sun. We see the sun in and by the body of the moon, by the moon's capacity to reflect. And then like Leo is ruled by the sun itself, the heart. On your inhale, float the left leg to the sky. As you exhale, catch your lunge. Inhale, bring your hands to your front thigh and pause. Feel both feet on the ground. So you organize yourself in a way that is sturdy so that you can be your own source of self-security. Pull the feet towards each other. You feel the legs engage, and you got to lift the back heel, knee, and thigh higher so you feel the back leg get straighter, stronger, more lifted. Can you feel that? And then keeping the back leg straight and strong, the tailbone descends, the front thigh descends. Interlace your hands behind your head again. Point your elbows forward, lift the armpits up and in, and then press your head back so that the bottom tips of the shoulder blades behind you, beneath you, lift the bottom of your heart center up so that the heart is the highest point. The heart is the apex. As you inhale, pull the feet towards each other, sturdy in the foundation. As you exhale, press your head back into your hands. Keep that connection as you inhale through center. Exhale, gently place the palms. Take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Keep your thighs lifting like the back leg in lunge. Lift the heels up, lift the knees up, lift the thighs up, look forward, brow soft. And as you exhale, bend your elbows just a little bit. Keep your thighs lifting. Inhale the arms straight. Keep your thighs lifting higher. Draw the bottom ribs up. Exhale, bend your elbows just a little bit. Keep your thighs lifting. Inhale the arms straight. Notice if the head is dropping. Everyone lift your thighs higher. Lift your head higher. Lift your bottom ribs higher. And you hold to that sturdiness that you've created, the integrity. As you exhale, just bend the elbows a little bit. Gentle in the elbows. Push the arms straight. Look forward. Exhale, downward dog. Find your breath. On your inhale, float the right leg to the sky. With your exhale, step it through to lunge. Back heel to the ground. Inhale, warrior two. So even here, like you can bring the hands behind the head again. Point the elbows forward, lift the armpits up and in. Feel the shoulder blades come together. And then press your elbows out to the sides and you organize yourself to the back of the heart. Can you feel that? Right knee and toes point straight ahead, turn the back toes in. As you inhale, pull the feet towards each other, feel the legs engage. And as you exhale, let's go left elbow towards the left knee. Bend the right leg deeper, squeeze the right heel in, guide the right knee open, press your head into your hands, feel the heart open. Pull the feet towards each other, inhale to center. Exhale, we'll go right elbow to right knee. Notice if the head came forward, pull the feet towards each other, press the head back, organize to the heart. Inhale to center, extend the arms, push the front leg straight. Exhale, triangle pose, right fingertips to the floor or the block. So the Cancer season, just for review, has been about nurturing the foundation, nurturing the core, nurturing the heart, nurturing that which is neglected, overlooked, that's shadow work, as we prepare for Leo season, big heart energy. On your exhale, pass through lunge. We'll take it through lunge to downward dog. And then again here, we reflect and imbibe the gift of conscious embodiment. Where do we have or feel or find newfound space? How deep is your reflection? On your inhale, float the left leg high. Exhale, catch your lunge. Back heel to the ground. Inhale for warrior two. Left knee and toes point straight ahead. Just make sure the right foot doesn't turn out so you organize your foundation. Bring your hands together behind your head. You can interlace your fingers your favorite way. Point the elbows forward, lift the armpits up and in. Feel the shoulder blades come together on the upper back. That's the back of the heart center. And then as you push your head into your hands, you create a little more engagement there. Keep that as you widen the elbows. As you inhale, pull the feet towards each other. As you exhale, right elbow to right leg. Pull the feet towards each other, head back. Inhale through center. Pull the feet towards each other. Exhale, left elbow to left knee. Head back. Isn't that crazy how much the head falls forward? Inhale to center. Extend the arms. Make the front leg straight. Triangle pose. Feel both feet on the ground. And as you inhale, pull your feet towards each other. Feel the legs engage from the feet all the way up into the hips. It's not even that you create the strength in your legs. The strength in your legs is your nature. You practice in order to strengthen your connection to the strength in your legs. You organize yourself of your legs. And you plug into the core, to the deep power of the core. And then as you plug from the feet up into the core, from the core you got to ground the energy down, push down into the earth to extend through the spine, the crown, the arms. One more breath. Rest the head back like the hands are there. And on the exhale, pass through lunge, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Inhale to plank. The key is thighs stay lifting, head stays lifting, in line with the heart. So Notice this tendency, be reflective of the tendency for the head to want to lead the way in the poses. And we're going to begin working towards cultivating, letting the heart take the lead rather than the head. And we stand to benefit greatly personally from this practice, and I think the world could also potentially benefit greatly from the cultivation of letting the heart lead more than the head. Yeah, it's just an ant. It's not even a... You guys, do you want to hear something terrifying and horrible about your yoga studio while you hold plank downward dog? Sharing this. We're warm-ish, but we're going to get warmer. Gigi saw her first bajillipede a couple weeks ago. That's what I refer to as those, I used to think of them as like horrendously grotesque and ugly. They're like a bug with really long legs. And when I first moved to Philly, I like had zero tolerance for bajillipedes. Does everyone know what I'm talking about now? You've seen them in Philadelphia. Have you ever seen them anywhere other than Philadelphia? They're like a Philadelphia monster. Anyone else from like other countries? Do you know what I'm talking about? Those insects with the like really, you've seen them in Philly? Yeah. Have you ever seen them anywhere else? They're a Philadelphia monster. Does anyone like them? I like them now too, yeah. A giant one lives in that monstera, like the biggest one you ever saw, and only when I overwater it, which is a cancer thing to do. Like all of our plants are on the brink of neglect. You can probably tell that because my tendency, I've been left to watch other people's houseplants and pets since a young child, and the pets were always great, the plants were always dead from being overwatered. So when I overwater the giant monstera, the giant bajillipede comes out. But they eat other insects. They eat the spiders, they eat the mosquitoes, they eat the shit that actually does bother us. And they're rather beautiful. They look like feathers that are animated. So it's like I realized that I was prejudiced against the bajillipede for being ugly. And it's like the worst form of prejudice. Oh yeah, stop killing those. Yeah, stop killing those. Only mosquitoes and lanternflies, I think, if we're trying to be karmic about it. My holier than thou stance on bugs. And I lived with one of those guys, or not lived, I married to a guy that doesn't even believe in the word bug. They're insects. Okay, downward dog. So in other words, we have to learn to live with our monsters. And we have to learn to live among monsters well with our monsters and amongst the monsters of the world. That's our practice, our agenda, is how do we live well? And which monsters are actually demonic and which ones are actually there to consume the toxicity. Like this bajillipede that lives in this plant must eat so many mosquitoes because it's next to the window without the screen. Okay, tangent. Like I said, I'm a little bit dissociated today. On the inhale, float the right leg to the sky. As you exhale, step it through to lunge. Back heel to the earth. Inhale for warrior two. Find your breath, stand your ground, organize yourself around your foundation first. Right knee and toes point straight ahead. Just make sure the left foot's not turning out. And as you inhale, pull the feet towards each other. Interlace your hands behind your head so the opposite little finger is on the outside. A little weirder. It sort of catches your awareness. Point the elbows forward, lift the armpits up and in. Open the elbows, press the head back. Bend a little deeper in your front leg. Squeeze the front heel in. Left elbow to left shin. Bend the front leg deeper. Press your head back. Inhale to center. Exhale, right elbow to right thigh. Press your head back. Inhale to center. Extend the arms. Push the front leg straight. Big breath in. Try not to lock the knees. Try not to lock out. Exhale, triangle pose. Right hand to the floor or the block. Put a bend in your front leg that can't be seen but can be felt. And then more weight to the inner edge of the front foot. So the outer edge of the front foot completely lifts off the floor. We're getting really organized, really nuanced and myopic. Turn your back toes in, lift the outer edge of the back foot up. And as you squeeze the front heel in, guide the front knee open, and imagine your hands behind your head, rest your head back. On your exhale, pass through lunge, downward facing dog. And then the key is to be able to reflect, like having just organized myself around all the way up into where the legs plug into the power of the core. Is there a difference now from side to side? And what difference does a different make? Do you feel more spacious and or more grounded? Is there more light of awareness, more expansion of consciousness? On the more capacity for breath at the very least. On the inhale, float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Back heel to the ground, set your foundation. Inhale, warrior two. Here it's more common for the back leg to tend to lock, so we want the back leg to be straight without being locked. Turn the back toes in a little bit and see that the front knee is head. And then interlace your hands behind your head so the opposite little finger, it's like the weirder way, is happening. It's getting weird. Point the elbows forward, lift the armpits up and in, and press your head back. And as you inhale, pull the feet towards each other. Exhale, right elbow to right shin. Pull the feet towards each other, squeeze the front heel in, front knee open, press your head back. Inhale to center. Exhale, left elbow to left leg, bend the front leg deeper, press your head back, squeeze the front heel in, guide the front knee open. Inhale to center, extend the arms, front leg straight. Exhale for triangle. Left hand to the floor or a block. And if you come to your foundation and walk your back foot back, it actually brings the floor closer, which will give you more extrinsic support in order to find your intrinsic stability. Rest your head back, one more breath. On your exhale, pass through lunge, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Inhale for plank. Exhale, slowly lower in the style of you towards the lap of the earth. As you inhale, slide the heart forward and up. Claw the fingertips towards the feet and flick your toenails down. Soften the brow. On an exhale, we'll take downward dog. Can be still or pedal your feet there. Again, notice what you feel. Feel what you notice. Particularly any changes. Is it okay to touch, Elise?
Should my hands be further back?
No, walk your hands forward even. So I'm trying to stretch you. Yes, feel that?
Yes.
It's okay to touch, Sally? Yes. Can I get my elbows in? Those are my knees, not my elbows. I don't even know my knees from my elbows, and I've been doing yoga for 20 years. Inhale, float the right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to right arm. Exhale, knee. Inhale, the leg up and back. Exhale, right arm. Lift the back knee and thigh higher. Reach the heart forward. Reach the heart back. Exhale, put it down. Claw the fingertips. Find the breath. Inhale to float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Follow the breath. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Pause, lift the back thigh higher. Reach the heart, the gaze forward. Inhale, the leg up and back. Exhale, knee to opposite arm. Pause as you lift the back knee and thigh up, reach the gaze, the heart forward. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, float it down. Inhale to plank. Exhale. Inhale for cobra. Exhale for downward dog. Find your breath. Inhale the leg high to the sky. With your exhale, catch your lunge. Pivot your feet to the left for the wide-legged forward fold. Find your strap. There we go. They're called warm-ups, but we do have air conditioning. Oh, I got you. I'll get you in. Take the strap behind your back, behind your hips for a shoulder stretch. As you fold forward between your legs, bow to your heart. Organize yourself from the foundation first, from the ground up. Make your feet parallel or slightly turned in. There you go. You're welcome. As you inhale, pull the feet towards each other, micro bend the knees, and draw energy from the ground all the way up into the hips by the action of pulling your feet towards each other, hugging to the midline, hugging to the center. Keep that, and as you lean towards the balls of your feet, press your thigh bones back, not your knees. You can let the backs of the hands just rest on the backs of the hips and draw the shoulder blades organized in order to be well resourced. So you have your hands as close together as you can, prioritizing the connection of the upper back. It's great to see you. Can I touch?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you?
Good.
This is good. Now, as you hug the shoulder blades together, before you even go to the max, energetically pull your hands apart, like you're pulling the strap apart. Yes, that's creating integrity. Okay, reach the arms to the sky. Big breath in, look forward, reach your heart forward. Pull your feet towards each other, mindful of head to butt ratio. As you exhale, fold, bow, let the arms get heavy overhead like wet branches. Gently release. Turn the right knee and toes through lunge. Find your blocks and take a big step forward and up. Supported warrior three. Warrior three with support. You walk your blocks forward and as high as you need so that the bend in the front leg can be tiny. And now lift the standing heel and lower it a ½ inch to the right. Good. Now squeeze the standing heel to the midline and guide the knee more open. As you inhale, get long through the spine, come onto the blocks high in front of you. You might have to walk the blocks forward a little bit. Flex your back foot, spread your toes, squeeze the back leg to the midline, and on the exhale, twist to the right, reach your right arm to the sky. Bring your right hand to the back of your head, point your right elbow towards the brick wall, slide the left shoulder blade to the spine, and then push your head into your hand. As you inhale, squeeze the back leg to the midline. As you exhale, push your head back into your hand. Inhale to untwist. Exhale, step it all the way back to a lunge. Lower the back knee down, pad as needed. Bring your blocks high inside your front leg. And then bend the back leg, left hand for left foot. Pull the back knee forward, pull the front foot back, and you square your hips to the front. So the way to square your hips more is to actually think about twisting your hips from left to right. So your left hip's coming forward and the right hip's coming back. Maybe with your right hand, reach for your left foot. Maybe interlace your hands behind your foot. This is an option, an invitation, by no means an obligation. And here's the key, everyone. Can you turn your back toes out more? Bring the light of awareness to the part that is overlooked. Illuminate the neglected, the shadow. The back foot tends to do its own thing. And then maybe if you have right hand to left foot, reach the left arm to the sky. Kind of the ultimate psoas stretch. Pull the back knee forward. Bring your left hand behind your head. Pull the back knee forward. Press your head back. Gently release all of it. Gentle, as best you can. Downward dog. How does the air feel? Good or too cold? Good? Cold? Okay. Just making sure we're not cold. It's cold, right? It's like depends where you're at in the room. Find your breath. Breath to heart, heart to mind, mind to body. On the inhale, float the left leg to the sky. With your exhale, catch the lunge. Pivot your feet to the right for the wide-legged forward fold. Find a shoulder stretch with or without the strap. We're going to go for more nuance, get more myopic about it this time. So it's a standing forward fold with the legs wide. It's a shoulder stretch. It's a forward fold with a heart opener. And it's an inversion because the head is below the heart. The heart is higher than the head. Find your breath. Stay with your breath. As you inhale, pull the feet towards each other. Hug the shoulder blades to the midline. And as you exhale, anchor the tailbone down. Try to pull the strap apart. Now as you inhale, again, mindful of head to butt ratio, reach the arms up to the ceiling to lengthen the spine. Draw the bottom ribs to the spine. And as you exhale, let the head get heavy. Let the arms get even heavier overhead. Little bend in the elbows, everyone. Little bend in the knees. Hug the feet towards each other. Pull the hands apart. Gorgeous, Yelani. As you exhale, release the strap. Turn the left knee and toes through lunge. Find the blocks. Walk the blocks way out in front of you. And take a huge step forward. Supported warrior three. Like step all the way forward into imagining like something other than the Electoral College. Like that far. But you gotta ground it in reality, standing in the left leg. We're not gonna see it in our lifetime. Left knee and toes point straight ahead. You gotta stay connected to your back leg, to the history, to the mythology, to bringing the character of truth into the mythology. Flex the back foot, turn the back toes towards the earth, but lift the back thigh to the sky. Good, and now slowly start to twist to the left arm to the sky. To the left, turn the back toes to the left, anchor the tailbone down, maybe bring the left hand behind the head. Point your left elbow towards the stairwell wall. Point the left elbow to the left, and then take the left armpit back. Press your head into your hand, and now open the left elbow to the sky. Press your head into your hand. Squeeze the back leg to the left. Lean your head back. Good. Inhale to untwist. Whew. Take a huge step back. Lower the back knee. Pad as needed. Organize yourself around your foundation. You want to make sure you're not too short or too long in your stance. It's got to be sort of sturdy and movable. Bend the back leg, and starting with right hand to right foot, find the thigh stretch. And then once you make that connection to your back foot, you bind yourself to yourself. It's easier to connect to what the back foot is doing without even looking, without having to see with your eyes. With the hand there, can you turn the back foot out to the right more? Maybe reach back with your left hand if you feel stable. Total if and maybe. And notice when you reach for the left hand, the foot wants to sickle to the left. Keep turning the foot to the right as you draw, as you pull the back knee forward. And as you pull the back knee forward, can you lift the rib cage up and back? And then extend the right arm to the sky, maybe. Bring the right hand to the head, and as you draw the ribs back, press your head back. Pull the back knee forward, and then exhale, ribs back, head back. Inhale the arm long, exhale, release the foot, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Inhale for plank. Exhale your version of Chaturanga Dandasana in the style of you. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra. We're gonna be here for a few breaths. Stretch back through the legs, down through the feet. Can you bring your feet together and try to get more weight to the outer thighs? As you press the tops of the feet down, the knees and thighs will start to lift a little. Press through the inner edges of your hands, your foundation, and as you push into the inner edges of the hands more, hug the hands towards each other energetically, and without moving them, pull them back. So energetically pushing the hands down, in, and back as you slide the heart forward and up. And imagine there was like a little headrest behind you, and you're pushing the headrest back with the center back of your skull. Press the feet down. Exhale to your belly. Make a pillow with your hands. Stretch back through the legs, press down through the tops of the feet. Anchor the tailbone down so much you feel the low belly start to lift and tone. Slow breath in, slow breath out. Turn your head to the other side. Inhale for 4 at your own pace. Try to breathe more into the sides and back of the waist. And exhale for 4 at that same pace. It could take a few cycles to find your pace, but inhaling 4, exhaling 4. And from here, if you're wanting a little, this is like a spinal neutralizer, but if you want like a little bit more counter pose in your low back after that long cobra, you're gonna take this into child's pose. You can push through the arms, point the feet, bring the big toes to touch the knees wide, and send your hips towards your heels. And now as you are where you are, it's inhale for 4 through the nose. Pause for 4 at the top, percolate in the space between the inhale and exhale. It's a point of reflection. And then exhale for 4 and pause for 4 at the bottom of the exhale before the inhale in a moment of expansion. Inhale 4, pause 4, exhale 4, pause for 4. Okay, sit back on your heels. Let's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can go to the wall. Let's use the walls today. We have plenty of room. I don't think we have to mess with the curtains. Sally, you can use that door. It's solid. But find a place at the wall and bring your stuff. It depends how much control you think you have because it's just thin plexi. Yeah. I don't know what we're doing yet, actually. We're going to play. Yeah. We're going to invert. I think it's really important that we cultivate our proprioception in times like this. You can bring all your stuff because I'm not sure, I'm not sure what comes next. That's the state of things right now. Trying to be okay, trying to live well. Who knows what comes next? You could scooch a little bit. We're going to come into tabletop position with the feet at the wall. Tabletop position with the feet at the wall. Hands a tiny bit forward of the shoulders, please, just to protect the wrists here. And let me know if we need to talk about the wrists more than I'm doing. In fact, Let's talk about the wrist more than I have been. So we want the hands a little bit forward of the shoulders because that's going to put less hinge on the wrists here, less pressure on the wrists. And then we want the index fingers like the number 11 to each other, and outer shoulder width apart. And then put a little bend in your elbows out to the sides, And feel how the shoulder blades come together on the upper back when you bend the elbows out to the sides. Keep the shoulder blades together like that as you push through the inner edges of the hands to straighten the arms without rounding the upper back. Again, the hands are a little bit forward of the shoulders, toes are tucked under, and as the shoulder blades come together, the tendency is for the belly, the bottom ribs in front to drop, and the tailbone to lift. So we want to keep that connection to the upper back, and now draw the bottom ribs into the back body, and send the pubic bone back towards the wall and the tailbone down to the ground. It's a lot. We're going to do all that. Anyone want me to say it all again? Okay, I'll try. Index fingers parallel, like the number 11. And we want way more weight on the inner edges of the hands than the outer edges of the hands. Think about this as many metaphors, but more weight to the center, not more weight to the peripheries, okay? Put more weight to the center to prevent wrist pain. And then bend the elbows out to the sides to find and feel that connection to the upper back. The shoulder blades organized to the heart, the chest, the lungs open. Keep that as you push the arms straight. Draw the bottom ribs towards the back body. Take the pubic bone towards the wall behind you and the tailbone towards the sky. And I'll often call that like dialing into center. You're organizing yourself around the center, and it should impart a clear sense of integrity. Are you okay? Okay. What? Oh, tissues. We got tissues. We got resources, y'all. It's the privilege of a yoga studio in the elitist city of Philadelphia. We have tissues. Sorry. I shouldn't be so sorry. Too much me in the room. Yeah. So you want to keep all that as you lift your knees and hips up towards downward dog. It's going to feel like a claustrophobic downward dog. You okay here? Just take a moment to like be in the place that feels a little tight. Try to stay heavy on the inner edges of the hands. Try to keep the shoulder blades together, the bottom ribs back, the pubic bone moving back, the tailbone moving down. Try to embody, embrace, practice to experience embodying and embracing the paradox. We're going to take the left leg straight up the wall behind you with the toes tucked under. Make it like the back leg of a lunge. Front leg straight, then the option, making it even tighter. And then the option is to flex the bottom foot and slide your bottom heel up the wall in order to square your hips nice, in order to organize yourself around the center. And now push through the back foot, push into the wall like you're trying to push the boundary as you anchor the bottom heel to your mat. One more breath. Yeah, and then walk it out and rest. Child's pose, full pranam, whatever you need to do to re-regulate. It's an upside down Hanuman asana. So I realize that sometimes I talk too much inside baseball. So Hanuman is the monkey deity of the yoga tradition. One of my favorites. He's the shapeshifter. The Kama Rupani is another name for Hanuman. Pancha, oh, someone help me. Pancha, what's his name? Pancha, is it Panchamukha? Does anyone know? Okay. Meaning the 5 faces. He has a name that means he has 5 faces. Pancha is 5 and Mukha is face, so I'm assuming Panchamukha, but that could be wrong. But I love his name is Kama Rupani, the one who changes forms. And it's this idea that in our yoga, we're not trying to like reduce ourselves to a true self. we're actually trying to expand the self to be able to take as many forms and as many shapes as the world the world at times demands, which is not the true self, right? Like the world wants us to be a certain way. It's up to us as yoga practitioners to invent the self we want to offer to the world. So how many selves can we become? Upside down Hanuman it's a deep stretch. It's a big leap upside down. We'll do the second side. Any questions on it before we do the first side? Okay, second side. Tabletop position. Just so you know, we're going to do the second side, and then we're going to do it on each side one more time so that we have an opportunity to invite more nuance, right? Because everything we set up in the foundation before we did the pose, I would bet that many of us lost some, if not a lot of connection to that once we were in the really challenging place. So we're going to go to the really challenging place, and then the next time around, we're going to try to find and hold and sustain the nuance in the face of the challenge. Tabletop position. Hands forward of the shoulders at first to protect the wrists. Bend and feel free to give yourself even more space than you think you need. And as you exhale, bend your elbows out to the sides, connect to the back of the heart, push the arms straight without losing that connection. Draw the bottom ribs towards the spine and the tailbone towards the floor, and lift your knees and hips up for downward facing dog. Tight. Take a moment here because I just find this version kind of so claustrophobic. We get so closed in. And this is a time to sort of practice when you feel metaphorically cornered, what do you have access to? Inhale for, pause for, exhale for, pause for. We're going to take the right leg high up, straight up, toes tucked. Push into the wall to make that back leg straighter, like the back leg in lunge. Nice, Kala. And then walk your hands towards the wall. A little bit, a lot of it, as suits you. And right at your edge, flex the bottom foot, slide the bottom heel up, square the hips like warrior 3, upside down. And then keeping yourself organized around the center, hips square, slide the heel down to earth. And rest. Rest, rest, rest. Find and take refuge in your breath. So that one is at first just like a big upside down stretch. A big upside down stretch, which is a lot. First of all, in the foundation, the time to reorient yourself around your foundation and your center and your heart while you're even up there. And if the wrists are hurting, you could either just come down, you could do a forearm version of it, you could do a legs up the wall. Again, it's not about you conforming to what the world is offering, it's about what do you want to bring to what's being offered. And I think that fluency in yoga is about getting really good at knowing how to bring the best of ourselves to any given moment, and knowing that anytime I come to teach, I promise I'm going to bring you the best I have, knowing that the best I have is going to be really different every time we're together. So your task is to know how to bring the best of yourself to yourself in your practice. And especially in a studio like this, space like this, it could look like legs up the wall. It could look like dolphin pose with one or both feet at the wall. It gets to look like however you invent your best to be, okay? If you have the stamina in your foundation and in your wrists, once we're going up there, we want to have the stamina to endure reorganizing ourselves around the foundation reorganizing ourselves around the center. And the more we do so, the more we're going to get into the heart, which is actually the focal point of power in that pose. And when you can more deeply, more fully access the heart, the whole pose is going to grow in like expansion and elegance from inside out. Do you want me to talk you through it? Do you want me to show it? Do you want me to talk you through it and then show it? Show it. Okay. I'm like, I'm not going to be on, I don't know if I could be on camera for this. Let's see. Maybe I can. And I don't have a hair tie. I did this a couple weeks ago. Yay, desk. There's still Maury, there's still the top from you. Every time I open those drawers, I'm like, we're going to do a clothing swap one day. I just have to organize myself. Speaking of organizing. Okay, I'll do this here, but then I might do it from the center of the room so you can see more of a side view. I think that'll be more meaningful. But even like Elise, you can like tell them how far forward my shoulders are from my wrists.
Like the wrists are further forward than the shoulders. It's not like a square.
It's not insignificant. It's not a little bit. I'm giving myself a lot of space in the foundation. And then I'm going to bend the elbows, get the upper back to engage, draw the ribs up. So I'm starting with a good foundation. Pubic bone back, tailbone down, downward dog, the claustrophobic place. And then I'll, like, do I need to scooch this? That's maybe, you know what? I don't care if it breaks. I own the place. We'll fix it. I take the leg up and I push it straight. Ooh, I'm tight. And then I'll walk the hands in. When I walk the hands in, I have to walk this leg up. And I'm in a big upside down stretch. And I'm not really oriented around my center anymore. So I flex the bottom foot and I drag it up the wall. Can you see how as I drag it up, I can square the hips? And I pause here in the sort of inverted warrior three. The hips are square. I'm going to push the hands into the floor, the foot into the wall, the bottom heel into the wall. And as I plug into like the boundaries in the foundation, I can draw the bottom ribs in. Can you see that? And push through the hands. And now I get that top foot higher even as the bottom leg grounds. Whew. Ribs back, square the hips, ground. That was for folks at home. Side view. Like, where do I go? Where do I go? Are you thank you. Oh, thanks for the offering. And feel free to come where you have a good view. Oh, I love these Lululemon mats. Thank you for offering. Tendencies to kind of be here. So you got to bend the elbows. This is already over-connected kind of to the upper back. But I got to connect to the center. See that? And then connect to the ground. Tight dog. Which side did I just do it? This way. Foot up the wall. And you could just be here and check it out. Like this feels like a lot already, but if I push into the floor and I push into the wall and then I find the center, I can go way deeper. Did you see the back foot just go up more? Just by connecting to the center, and then I could walk the hands in as appropriate. I lose the center because now I'm just an upside down, stretched out mess. Okay, so I flex the bottom foot, pull the heel up, square the hips, reorganize to the center. Hips are square, push into the ground, push into the wall, bottom ribs towards the spine. Whew. As I ground. That side was deeper because it was at the real wall, not the plexi wall. So I don't know if you can see that when I actually square myself around the center, you're not as deep in the pose anymore. It takes you out of the stretched out mess. But then once you can hold the center, you can stretch with integrity by pushing into the wall, pushing into the ground, and grounding through the heel. So from stretched out mess to less sensation, more to yourself, to your center, to your warrior three upside down, and then keeping your warrior three, because like your warrior poses are the part of yourself. Like anytime you're in a warrior pose, You got to think that you're like conjuring the part of your character that like knows to do the right thing and does do the honorable part of yourself, the noble part. So you're like not stretched out. You're like really like a little bit self-aggrandized, dare I say. But then you don't want to just like stay there. You got to like push it and stretch it, but without losing the integrity. You want to try it again? Okay. So again, you do you, whatever that means for you, that's meaningful for you. I'm going to talk you through this stretched out mess of a pose, if you'll have it. So we're going to start in tabletop position, and I'll invite you to give yourself more space by walking your hands out further. Bend your elbows out to the sides. Draw the blades together. Keep that as you push the arms straight. And then you got cat pose in your midsection, cow pose in your heart. Right? Does that make sense when I say that, or is that too much jargon? Like a back bend in your heart and a forward bend in your belly. Keep that as you come into downward dog. Keep that as you stretch your left leg up the wall. Is that true? Yeah. Toes tucked under. You got it. Now just stay here for a moment. Index fingers like the number 11. Bend your elbows out to the sides if you want to reorganize more to your heart. Keep that as you push the arms straight. Give a little more forward bend section to organize yourself to your core, and then push through your top foot and glide the bottom heel up to square your hips like warrior 3 upside down. You got to push the ball of your top foot through the wall. Press the bottom heel into the wall and square your hips from left to right more. Square your hips. And then ground the bottom heel towards the earth. The bottom heel comes down to earth. You got to try to keep the hips square and the connection to your core and the connection to your heart. So shoshi, more ribs to spine, like cat stretch. And then rest. When you're ready, walk it out, lower down. Questions before we do it again? Where does the time go? I was hoping we would do this in a back bend today as well, but we might not get to that. Warming up for the back bend version of it. Is there a question? No? Could you feel a difference? Okay, and if not, it's coming, I promise. It's like seek the actions and all is coming, rather than seek the forms. And the actions inspire the forms. Think more like an inverted warrior 3 at the wall. So you're not just going into your flexibility, which is what I was trying to say. Like, you're so gorgeously flexible, and that becomes, well, yes, it is and it isn't. It's your asset. It's beautiful, and your assets are your perils, and your perils are your assets. And when you can really contemplate that paradox and have that self-reflection, like know what your strengths are. And if you're like young and you're not sure yet, like ask some of your best friends, like, what are my strengths? But I've been there, I'm like, what? I don't have any strengths. Oh. And then know that your strengths are your perils, and then know what your weaknesses are. And if you're not sure, also ask your friends that you really love and trust, and know that your weaknesses are also your assets. So Shoshi So Beautiful goes into the flexibility there, but what I'm asking you to do is, rather than go into your flexibility, go into your core, and then stretch as much as you can. Keep that integrity so that you're actually tying your intrinsic nature is your flexibility, but it bypasses your intrinsic strength. And we come in like 2 sets, and also like not clearly 2 sets. Like some of us are like really muscle bound or strong or like rigid, you or someone you know, and that's both their strength and their weakness. And some people are like overly flexible and malleable, and that's both their strength and their weakness. And then some of us are like really rigid in some places and like have no boundaries in others. Anyone? That's complicated. But when you know that you like tend towards flexibility, then your flexibility is going to point to look for your intrinsic strength and strengthen your connection to your strength and tie your strength into your opening. And if you tend to be like more rigid or strong, then you have to know and trust that you're sturdy enough to open, to stretch. We have both, and we need both. And like IMO, like now more than ever, and that's not going to change. We're just going to keep needing it more and more. Yes, that's it's counterintuitive. That is like the first hard pill to swallow in our yoga. A lot of it, most of it, is counterintuitive. But I think, and like maybe because you're a psychologist, like you could probably speak to this better than I can. It's like the way in which even our intuition is so formed by our family and our culture and our history, that is our intuition even based in reality enough to be trusted, enough to be true, versus like getting into your subconscious and your unconscious where your true intuition is, that's much, much harder to access. So counterintuitive, or just like the way in which counterintuitive indicates a deeper, more honest intuition, a subconscious and unconscious intuition. Okay, sorry, not to be like too teacher training, comparative philosophy, history of psychology on us, but second side. So if not for nothing, seek your tendencies as this last day of Cancer is upon us. Seek your tendencies in order to be deeply self-reflective about what needs light in Leo season. Where do you want to shine the light season? On what tendencies? What do you want to bring your heart to? To being more sturdy, to being more flexible, to being more open, to being more secure. So give yourself more space in the foundation to begin, and then we'll meet in our downward dog. And not only even hands like further away from the wall, but also you could think about taking your hands a little bit wider, not too wide, but wider. Again, counterintuitive, taking your hands wider is actually going to help the head of your arm bone connect deeper to the center, to the heart. Stretch your right leg up the wall, toes tucked under. Push the foot into the wall to straighten the leg. Walk your hands in if and as you like, pause there. And then can you draw the rib cage in and the heart forward as you flex the bottom foot and glide the heel up into an inverted warrior 3 for your strength. Push your hands into the earth and pull your ribs away from the bottom leg as you press the bottom leg towards the wall. And then keeping that, maybe ribs away from the thigh as you square the hips and ground through the bottom heel. Maybe stretching with integrity. The heel doesn't have to even come all the way to the ground. Just like find your edge and rest when you're ready. Explore, experiment. It's hard. So like it's the difference between being like here in your flexibility versus in your warrior 3. Like and think of like, warrior 3 here, but then how much can you be in your integrity as you go down and up? And actually that's what's going to make that connection to center, just so you know what the actions serve, is the difference between like kicking yourself or throwing yourself up into handstand and being able to like press up and glide up into handstand. Because you're cultivating that action of moving from the core, the power of your core, rather than pushing yourself or forcing yourself from the periphery. It's really powerful, and it indicates the direct experience of how powerful you really are. We live in a world that like tells us how to be in a way that disempowers us, that removes us or disconnects us from our power. And the practice of yoga shows us how to remember our power. Like, have you ever seen like an elegant yogi just like press up and you go like, not in this lifetime? But truly, like, the more you practice, do you ever like surprise yourself by what you're actually capable of that you didn't think you're capable of? That's why I practice. That's why I love teaching it. It's empowering. Downward dog. Pedal your feet from side to side. So Hanumanasana is the split, to Shoshi's point. His pose is named for the leap he makes from the tip of what is now southern India to what is now Sri Lanka. They were, of course, different lands hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. Bless you. So the split is named for his leap. And it's a leap of faith in the midst of war, in the service of divine love, the service of the heart. We'll go right leg through to pigeon prep. Bring your forearms to the floor in front of you. You can tuck the back toes, pull the knees towards each other, square the hips. Again, so you're trying to be more in your strength and your flexibility, and then you tie the strength into the opening. Like that, there you go. We'll take it back to downward dog when you're ready. You can take a full cycle of breath. We'll meet in dog and change sides. Bring your forearms to the floor in front of you. And as you inhale, hips here, just like we did in the warrior. Okay, now here is, in my opinion, the best and yet most fucked up part. We're gonna take it back to downward dog. Bring your heels to the wall in downward dog. Have your heels on the floor at the wall. And walk your hands towards the wall to come into a standing forward fold with your heels at the wall and your butt at the wall. And press your thigh bones into the wall, and maybe bring your hands to your ankles or shins. What? Can you hold your ankles or shins? And then walk your hands out a little bit and lower your knees down onto your blanket, sit back on your heels. And then that shows us how sort of counter our intuition is when we are folding forward. When we are folding forward and bowing to center, like, are we really organized around the center? If so, you can do this. It's just that what we think is center is actually so far from center because we live in a world that is constantly pulling us off center. And not just the world, like like we live in a family that pulls us off center, perhaps. We were talking about that before class. We live in a history and a culture that pulls us off center, that it makes it so hard to even find or know where center is. But the more you practice, it's not like you eventually find it, but you get it in pieces, and you collect the pieces of the center until there's like enough of it, just enough to hold on to. Do you want to try doing that forward fold one more time? Okay, and then I promise we're gonna like meditate and do ujjayi and rest. But just bring your heels to the wall, butt to the wall. Maybe. And as you press your butt to the wall, you gotta think your ribs tend to drop down and forward to the fronts of your thighs. Draw your bottom ribs towards your spine to counterbalance. And even like your thighs if you want. You can push your hands into your thighs, your bottom ribs towards your towards your ankles. Or just maybe onto fingertips and letting fingertips like hover a little bit. Heels to the wall, butt to the wall. Hands to the wall. Nice, Carrie. And rest. Walk it out, just rest. I did not get that overnight. Just to be clear, I've been doing this since the year 2000. Make as possible, sitting against a wall. You can sit on your blanket, you can sit on your blocks, you can sit on your blanket on top of your blocks at the wall so that your head and shoulders can rest against the wall. You'll be invited to stay here or lay down in a couple minutes. If you prefer to lay down now, you're also more than welcome to do this laying down, by all means. So the ujjayi sound is marked by a sound that the breath makes when you tone the glottis muscles in the back of your throat. It's like a hissing sound. Some people think it sounds like rolling thunder, or it does sound like rolling thunder in the distance, or like ocean waves. If you take a deep breath in and then like do a ha sound, like you're gonna fog up a lens, those are your glottis muscles. So you would make that sound, but the challenge is with your mouth closed. And then you can also make that sound, you can inhale with that ha sound, and those are your glottis muscles. And you make that sound, again, the challenge is with mouth closed. Okay, so close your eyes. Find your breath. Inhale for 4, just without too much effort yet. Pause for 4. Exhale for 4. And pause for 4. Find your count, like your own internal metronome. Natural breath in through the nose as you count to 4. Feel the inner body expand and fill. Let it remain expansive and full as you pause. Let the breath percolate inside for 4. And then slowly as you exhale, feel the inner body soften, the belly contract as you press the breath out for 4. And pause for 4. Now on your next inhale for 4, I invite you to open your mouth and make the ha sound as you inhale for 4. Pause for 4. And then open the mouth and make the ha sound as you exhale for 4. And pause for 4. When you're ready to inhale, you can open the mouth for a open mouth ha and try to keep it as you close the mouth. Pause for 4. And as you exhale, you can start with the mouth open to make the ha sound. And can you close the mouth mid-exhale and continue the sound? You can continue like that if and as it's helpful and meaningful for you. Or in another cycle or two, can you inhale through the nose, tone, constrict the muscles in the back of the throat as you inhale for 4 Ujjayi breath. Let it percolate for 4. And then sort of whispering the breath out as you exhale through the back of the throat, through the nose for 4. And pause for 4. At your own pace, listen to the sound your breath makes. Inhale for 4. Pause for 4. Exhale for 4. Ujjayi sound. Listen for your breath. Pause for 4. 3 more cycles. And if there's capacity there, you can inhale for 8, using the Ujjayi sound to give you feedback, to sort of stretch the breath in, deepen and expand the inhale. Pause for 4. And then using the muscles at the back of the throat to even slow down the channeling of the breath out for 8. And pause for 4. So that even the participation with the breath is itself an experiment in stretching ourselves with integrity. Not trying to overpower or control the breath, but here to participate with the breath in ways that are designed to optimize and enhance our capacity for breath, for energy, for the gift of life. You can stay here like this in the breathing meditation, or as you're ready, find your way into a relaxation posture. Make yourself as comfortable as humanly possible for these final moments of refuge. Take refuge in the currents of the breath. Take refuge in the gift of embodiment. Take refuge in the ocean of consciousness. Take refuge in the company of like minds and hearts. Allow yourself to relax, to release, to be soft, to place yourself gently on the lap of the earth and make of yourself a wholehearted, yearning offering. What do you yearn to offer to the lap of the earth? Make of yourself the offering. And take refuge in the goodness and the sweetness, the value of the offer, of the self. Look for the breath and let the breath hold your vision. Let it breathe you as you observe. Welcome, invite a deep breath in. Let it fill you up. Take it to heart. The breath ignites the heart. And then from your heart, offer a sweet, long breath out, heartfelt, as it pours out of you in all directions. As you deepen the breath deepens you. As you bathe in the breath, the light of the heart radiates from inside out by and with the currents of the breath. Bathe in the light of your heart with the eyes still closed. Make of the heart a heartfelt offering with eyes still closed to those in the world around you. And with eyes still closed, take a moment to imagine, to visualize, to set the intention for who and how you want to be in the world. More sturdy, more grounded, more organized, or more gentle, more flexible, more yielding. Some of those things and or all of those things. You bring these values and virtues to life. Who and how do you want to offer yourself? And as you make of yourself that offering, let the spirit that you are begin to awaken the body that you have in the ways that feel good. Wiggling toes and fingers, stretching arms and legs. The eyes still closed as you're ready. Bend the legs and feel both feet on the ground, and take a moment to call yourself down to earth, to call yourself back to reality, and to visualize the ways in which you stretch yourself in this practice of yoga into the activities of your daily life. In so doing, bringing more beauty and goodness, more love to those around you. Holding that vision in your heart of hearts, when you're ready, gently roll to one side, press through your arms, find your way into a comfortable seated posture, eyes closed, hands folded before the heart. Again, an Anjali Mudra, and a gesture of self-recognition that recognizes and honors the indwelling light of the heart, the voice of the true teacher, the source of supreme love and divine wisdom, and that places this very aspect of the self before us as the guide, as the offering in all we do. In so doing, bringing more supreme love, divine wisdom, values, and virtues into the world. As you bow to your heart, with all my heart, I bow to every single one of you. Thank you so much for your practice and for your presence, for this refuge today. And thank you so much for all that you are and all that you do every single day of this life. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for being together. Oh, to you, to us. Also, inside information, as some of you know, I've mentioned I canceled the Mexico retreat that we usually go on every March because I can't bear the thought of the stress of trying to sell a retreat during the election cycle. So I decided to do something totally new and different that I've been doing yoga retreats for probably like 15 years or more. We're going to Europe in like June. I think over July 4th weekend, it turns out, is what's available, which is also my birthday weekend. So if you want to, it's looking like it's narrowed down to Greece or Portugal over July 4th, for end of June through like that first week of July. We have always historically done like no interest payment plans, pay what you can as you can to make it accessible. I mention it now because we're working with a third party to organize the retreat this year, and I didn't ask that question in our first meeting. So I don't know how that's gonna work, if they're gonna be able to implement that for us. So I mention it now just in case you wanna start saving. It gives you like almost a whole year to, save for yourself, put it aside for yourself. So yeah, more on that to come as it develops. Again, Roll into Rest and Immersion and Teacher Training Info Session on August 18th if you're around. If you're not around and you want info, feel free to reach out to any of us, Anisha, Adriana, myself, Eric, anyone who's done it. I know Melissa's done it, Yolani's done it. Yolani's leaving, but she'll be back. I haven't accepted that reality yet. Usually there's a lot of folks in the room. You've done it, yes. Raise your hand if you've done it. I'll start doing this now in case you want to just like ask a peer instead of the one of us. I mean, we're peers too. Okay, dissociating again. Here I go.
July 4th, it turns out, is a really good day to fly.
Yeah.
We did not do that.
Well, no, yeah, we're not going to fly on July 4th. I think we'll be away for July 4th. But yes.